Hello there. This is my 1979 Yamaha RS 125DX. I rode this bike when I turned 17 and I have plenty of fond and loving memories of it. It's been in our family for the best part of 25 years. For the last, 7 of those years, it has been in our top shed, gathering dust and spiderwebs. It's occasionally been dug out and started and ridden around the garden, and then allowed to gather some more rust in the rain before being stowed away again. I've decided that it is high time for this bike to receive some restoration. But first, I have to move the drum kit and get it out of the shed. The thing's pretty small and it doesn't weigh much, so this doesn't take a huge amount of effort. The 2-stroke oil tank is already half full, so I don't see much of an issue with trying to start it. I top it up with premix just to be safe.
Oh, hello.
And that's when I noticed the fuel leak.
We have a fuel leakage.
It's coming from the overflow on the carb, so I figured my float needle was stuck and decided that I better start the bike before I lose all my precious fuel. I let it tick over for a couple of moments before deciding to engage first gear, and that's when I discovered the clutch was seized.
Clutch is seized.
But there was nothing that couldn't be resolved with a little bit of brute force. So now that I've had my fun, it's time to pull the thing apart a little bit, take a lot of photos, and have a review of all of the things that are wrong with the bike and need looking at. I will leave you with the super speedy time lapse while I go and make a cup of tea. It's been about 6 weeks since I went to make that tea. This tea. Let's take a look at the bike. The rear mudguard isn't in amazing nick. In fact, it would be more accurate to describe it as completely knackered. The front mudguard isn't any better, but just looks like it is because it's covered in silver tinfoil tape. See that bit of black plastic bolted to it? That mud flap is literally a piece of guttering that we installed to stop water from flicking onto the electrics up under the tank so that the bike wouldn't cut out when it rained or snowed. Yes, seriously, this was a problem we faced and this is how we solved it. Yeehaw! But that leads us nicely onto our next issue, the wiring. The archaic 6-volt electrics on this bike are really the only thing that have ever let it down, but it's never been the 6-voltness that's been the issue. I've had an LT cable break at the coil. I've had a total failure of the regulator rectifier. I've had the points slip. I've had the aforementioned issue where the front wheel has saturated the electrics, and each one has resulted in me getting cold, wet, and extremely frustrated. The chassis has been somewhat corroded. This looks to me distinctly like heavy surface rust, and not the kind that's going to compromise the frame's structural integrity, so that seems quite promising. And anything else that hasn't been turned into Swiss cheese is unfortunately just a bit tatty. The forks are nasty, and the seals are not endangered, but extinct. Last time I rode this bike on the road, it handled like a space hopper, and I'm sure we can do better than that. The hubs, the wheels, the engine, the exhaust, the side stand, the centre stand, the cables, levers and pretty much every other component on the machine is either showing its age or has been made the victim of some bodge job or other in the name of keeping my skinflint 17-year-old self, as well as my predecessors, on the road. As far as the bodywork goes, the situation is actually reasonably good. The panels all match and I believe they are original to the bike. The tank has some surface rust and dents to contend with, but has never leaked. The side panels have been repaired with a whole plethora of different materials, ranging from hot glue to chemical metal, and all the decals are sadly deteriorated. The rear upholstery I did on the seat 8 years ago seems to be holding up, and the seat pan itself is fairly free of corrosion. So now that we've spent 2 minutes slating the condition of the bike, I want you, the viewers, to help me with something, and this is something that's hotly debated in my house. When you're refurbishing an old bike, such as this, you have effectively 2 options. Option A is to keep the bike as close to original as possible, with period pattern parts, original wheels, suspension, brakes and electrics, and you try and get the paint touched up, and you do everything you can to keep the age and the authenticity and the patina of the bike at the forefront of its appearance and its performance. What you're effectively trying to do is get the bike somewhere near its original condition and performance level without actually compromising the character that comes with the age-related marks. Option B is to actually upgrade the thing, drag it into a 21st century, taking higher performance components from different newer machines, upgrading the electrics, maybe slightly skimpier mudguards, modern tyres, with upgrades to the suspension, possibly the wheels, and possibly a new paint job complete with decals and maybe a new seat cover. I'm not a huge fan of modern cafe racers that are clearly just eBay specials, and we do have the ability to fabricate things in our garage. So if we do go down this road, I will endeavour to modify the bike with tasteful, high quality additions that are actually going to aid in its performance, physical appearance and longevity. The likelihood that I'm ever going to sell the bike at the moment seems pretty slim, so I'm not too worried about the ultimate saleability of it. What I'm really interested in is making a bike that's exciting to ride, easy to look at and restored to a high level of quality. So, whether you're seeing this video on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, I would be really grateful if you could comment and let me know whether or not you are in camp A, original bike, or B, drag it into a 21st century. Thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.